When we think of U.S. presidents, names like Lincoln, Washington, and FDR often come to mind as the greatest. But what about the other end of the spectrum? The ones historians rank as the worst. Based on surveys from C-SPAN, the Presidential Greatness Project, and analysis by historians, we're counting down the 10 worst U.S. presidents of all time. Let's dive in, starting with number 10. Number 10, William Henry Harrison, 1841. William Henry Harrison makes the list not so much for scandal or corruption, but for sheer ineffectiveness. Why? He only served 31 days in office before dying of pneumonia, the shortest presidency in U.S. history. Harrison gave the longest inaugural address ever in freezing weather without a coat or hat, which likely contributed to his illness. With just a month in office, he left no policies, no legacy, and no leadership impact. While his death was tragic, historians still rank him poorly since he essentially accomplished nothing during his presidency. Number 9, Zachary Taylor, 1849 to 1850. Zachary Taylor, a celebrated Mexican-American war general, struggled as president. With little political experience, he stumbled through a turbulent time leading up to the Civil War. Taylor took a vague, indecisive stance on slavery in the new territories, which angered both North and South. His failure to provide strong leadership in this critical era left the nation even more divided. After only 16 months in office, Taylor died suddenly, leaving historians to view his presidency as ineffective and poorly timed, offering no solutions during America's most pressing crisis. Number 8, John Tyler, 1841 to 1845. John Tyler is often nicknamed his accidency because he was the first vice president to take office after a president's death. From the start, Congress and even his own party, the Whigs, refused to fully accept him. Tyler repeatedly clashed with Congress, vetoed his own party's bills, and was expelled from the Whig Party, leaving him politically stranded. Even worse, Tyler strongly supported slavery and later joined the Confederate Army during the Civil War. He died before the war ended and was never officially mourned in Washington. Historians see him as a failed and divisive leader who weakened trust in the presidency. Number 7, Millard Fillmore, 1850 to 1853. Millard Fillmore is remembered for one disastrous decision, signing the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850. This law required citizens in the free states to help return escaped slaves, enraging Northerners and inflaming tensions between North and South. Instead of calming the crisis, Fillmore's actions only pushed the country closer to civil war. Beyond this, he lacked vision and left office unpopular with both parties. Today, he's remembered less as a leader and more of a man whose choices helped fan the flames of national division. Number 6, Warren G. Harding, 1921 to 1923. Warren G. Harding promised a return to normalcy after World War I, but his presidency quickly became a symbol of corruption and scandal. Harding's administration was riddled with cronies and political allies who abused their positions. The most infamous was the Teapot Dome scandal, where government officials secretly leased oil reserves for personal bribes. Harding himself wasn't directly involved, but his poor judgment in appointments doomed his legacy. Add in his lack of leadership skills, and historians place him firmly among America's worst presidents. Number 5, Herbert Hoover, 1929 to 1933. Herbert Hoover entered office with a reputation as a successful businessman and humanitarian, but his presidency was defined by the Great Depression. When the stock market crashed in 1929, Hoover's response was timid and inadequate. He opposed direct federal relief, believing that the economy would recover on its own. Meanwhile, millions of Americans lost their jobs, homes, and savings. Perhaps the most damning was his handling of the boneless army protest. when veterans demanding early payment of bonuses were violently dispersed by the military. Hoover's failure to act decisively left a stain on his reputation and cemented his place on this list. Number 4, Donald J. Trump, 2017 to 2021. Donald Trump remains one of the most divisive figures in U.S. history. Supporters praise his outsider approach, but historians rank him near the bottom due to normal-breaking divisiveness and multiple controversies. His administration faced 2 impeachments, widespread criticism of his handling of the COVID-19 pandemic, and allegations of undermining democratic institutions. The most serious blow came on January 6, 2021, when a mob stormed the Capitol after months of Trump falsely claiming that the 2020 election was stolen. Historians argue this event alone severely damaged America's democratic traditions, solidifying his low ranking. Number 3, Franklin Pierce, 1853 to 1857. Franklin Pierce is widely blamed for accelerating the march toward the Civil War. His support for the Kansas-Nebraska Act allowed new territories to decide on slavery. The result? A wave of violence known as Bleeding Kansas, where pro- and anti-slavery settlers clashed. Instead of easing tensions, Pierce's presidency deepened them. He also enforced the Fugitive Slave Act aggressively, further angering Northerners. By the end of his term, his own party abandoned him, and historians remember Pierce as a president whose actions further divided the country. Number 2, Andrew Johnson, 1865 to 1869. Andrew Johnson took over after Lincoln's assassination, one of the most critical moments in U.S. history. Instead of continuing Lincoln's vision for Reconstruction, Johnson sabotaged it. He vetoed key civil rights legislation, opposed the 14th Amendment, and worked to restore power to ex-Confederates. His approach allowed Southern states to enact black codes, stripping newly freed African Americans of their rights. Congress eventually impeached him, the first impeachment of a U.S. president, though he survived it by 1 vote. Historians overwhelmingly agree his presidency was a catastrophic failure that undermined progress after the Civil War. Number 1, James Buchanan, 1857 to 1861. At the very top or bottom of nearly every historian's list is James Buchanan. His presidency is often described as a direct path to the Civil War. Buchanan believed the federal government had no power to stop states from seceding. When Southern states began leaving the Union, he did virtually nothing to stop them. He also supported the pro-slavery Dred Scott decision and tried to admit Kansas as a slave state despite massive opposition. By the time he left office, the nation was in chaos, and Abraham Lincoln inherited an impossible situation. Historians consistently rank Buchanan as the worst president in U.S. history, citing his inaction and poor judgment during the most critical crisis in American history. And there you have it, the 10 worst presidents in American history, according to historian and expert surveys. Do you agree with this list? Or do you think someone else deserves a spot here? Let us know in the comments and hit the bell for more deep dives into American history.